Constantly shifting through the time-space continuum, Metron's three disciples observe the universe from the Mobius Couch.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, they ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese are milking welfare here on the Mobius Couch. A time-space interdimensional vehicle. Oh, that's a reference to America's #1 song, Northmen of Richmond.
Richmond?
Rich
men?
Like Richmond of
Richmond,
north
of Richmond.
Richmond, north of Richmond. That's America's #1 song, and that's a reference to that. But we're on the Mobius Couch. That title, I kept wanting to say Northmen of Richmond, but that's not.
I mean, that sounds good.
It's a better title. But we are the Mobius Couch, ladies and gentlemen. It's a time-space interdimensional vehicle from which your hosts survey the world of comics and comic book movies and manga. Also doing manga now recently. Yeah. But I'm one of your hosts, Alessandro.
Hey, my name's Patrick. I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Mobius Couch. Joe, over to you.
Oh, hey, I'm Joe. I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Mobius Couch. Patty, back over to you.
Awesome. We've known each other for about 30 years.
Okay.
And we still...
Sounds good.
The part we cut was better than that.
I don't know. I think that was gold.
I would leave that in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is part 2 of our discussion of Akira, the manga. If you haven't listened to our part 1 episode, you should, I don't want to say you should, do what you want, like live your life, but it might make more sense to listen to that episode before you listen to this one.
Sure,
that episode, of course, covered volumes 1 and 2. Volumes as defined by the Dark Horse collection from the early
paperbacks.
2000s.
Yeah, I think it's split that way. I mean, like Patrick has the hardbacks, and it's still split the same way.
It's still Dark. Okay, but it's based on the Dark
Is it Dark
Horse
Horse still?
in the early 2000s. It's
Kodansha.
Those volumes are based on the order of the Dark Horse established in the Dark Horse comic release in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of who is currently publishing them, whether that be Kodansha or Dark Horse, this is not based on the full color original, whatever Marvel sub-brand.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Patrick,
I'm glad you corrected me over that meaningless detail. Like, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
I wasn't really correcting. I was just adding to, informing.
It's important. But so episode 1 was volumes 1 and 2. This episode is going to be volumes 3 and 4, the middle volumes. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who are new, we give kind of overall thematic takes, but we also talk about the plot and what's going on. We kind of dish on what's going on.
Volumes 1 and 2 are sort of the movie, and
the
like
movie, except for the end. Yeah, the movie is like an abridged 1 and 2, and then with an end tacked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then and it's very different. So 3, 4, and 5, it kind of give you a ton of more layers and backstory to a lot of the characters that are in the books and not the movie, or if they're in the movie, they're in their movie for like 5 seconds or something like that. But volume 6, still more of that. But when you get to the end of 6, it kind of wraps back to the movie a little bit with similarities there. But
okay, but again,
what was your overall takes on the middle chunk here, 3 and 4? Like, how do you feel about this middle section?
I'll go first because I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll go first. So still loved it. I will bring up as we speak. These are complaints I had about the first 2 volumes, but I didn't really bring up because it didn't come up organically, and I didn't want to just ham fist in I didn't like this. But one thing that kind of is more prominent in volume 3 is that there's just a lot of backtracking and returns to sewers and the same prisons and the same buildings we've been to over and over. And it just feels like a little bit fillery, backtracky. Now, a lot of that is this came out, again, this was coming out monthly or serially over 8 or 9 years. So it's probably a different experience reading it at that pace than just kind of binging these volumes. But this was something I felt in the first couple issues also just had them. They were always in these same sewer compounds, and then they go back and then back again. This in volume 3, I think there's actually, they even kind of reference that even more, because the colonel sees Kaneda and makes some comment like, "The fuck you again? Like, how are you around again?" So it's a little bit, I think, self-aware of that angle of it. But so that's a complaint. Another one is with like Kyoko, Chiako, Miyako, like a lot of similar sounding names. Like, can we diversify? Can we have like Nanamis or some Usagis or something involved?
Yeah,
so
throw in a Usagi
to differentiate these characters. Male names, we got all the diversity. We got from Takashi to Masaru to Kaneda. We got them all, but
yeah, you're all over the place with the male.
A little bit of a thinner band. So that's another complaint. But otherwise, I still loved it, especially when Volume 4 gets into some real like Mad Max, Fist of the North Star, post-apocalypse shit. That is really fun. I love it. I love this comic. I still am loving this comic. It's still great. So I enjoy reading Volumes 3 and 4.
Well, mine's very similar to Al, minus the complaints. I really loved 3 and 4. I don't really feel like 3 is as much of a filler as you're saying. I mean, it's kind of, just flipping through it, it's basically all of the different actors are playing keep away with Akira the entire time. Because so that's the whole volume really leading up to
Akira, by the way, just the quietest, sweetest little boy.
I know he is, just adorable. Just a
little
sweetheart.
Little sweetheart.
Just a sweetheart. Little adore barrel. Yeah. So volume 3 ends with a second Akira event. So, which is phenomenal. So so getting to see a brief glimpse of that explosion, or I guess implosion or telekinetic blast or whatever you want to call it, in volume 1, when you just see it happen and you're like, and then they're like 30 years later, it's Neo Tokyo. And you're like, okay, but this in volume 3, you get to like watch it happen. And it's the ripping apart of all the buildings, awesome. This giant sphere of like destruction where like later on we see in volume 4 and 5, 6, the ocean fills in and it's just this huge, weird, like piece of the ocean / lake kind of in the middle of where Neo Tokyo was. It's just so good. And I just that alone is so awesome. And I actually really enjoy the weird, like I said, playing keep away, like monkey in the middle with Akira, like the whole time. They're literally tossing them through the air to each other sometimes. It's insane. Like the whole, like the running around after the coup and the government, and like the colonel has taken over the government and he's locking everything down and there's military troops everywhere. And it's just, this is a really fun book, I think. I liked 3 a lot. Yeah, 4, as Al mentioned, being like post-apocalyptic and like, just people everywhere and they're wearing rags and they've all been through yet another Akira event and they're just trying to find food and water and they're all dying and they're all injured and hurt, and like the different factions that form immediately, and like it's so fun to read that part. It's something that I completely get that they removed from the movie because it's not really the core of the story, but getting to explore that with these characters is so fun. And it's part of what makes the manga like so much more, rich in content versus the movie, which is still fantastic, but it's just so much there. And I loved it to death. So, I mean, I don't think I have any complaints. I have no complaints. It was a great book from start to finish.
All right. Well, I feel like this is a first because I feel like usually on this podcast, if there's a differing of opinion, it's between Joe and Al, and I'm either agreeing with one or the other. And in this instance,
yeah,
I loved Volume 3. Volume 4, not bad, but I think this goes back to, we talked about in Secret Invasion how all 3 of us kind of hate the Savage Land setting. I don't love that setting. So I liked the cyberpunk kind of world, and once we moved from that,
so you wanted Blade Runner and less Mad Max, and when it moves to Mad Max, you're like,
The setting overall, I don't love. However, there's a lot of stuff in Volume 4 that is fantastic, and I'm not saying that it's a bad volume whatsoever. I'm just saying it's funny that I really enjoyed Volume 3. And Volume 4, I was kind of like, these are characters. There's a lot of, is it Ryu or Ryu?
So Ryu is how like an American would pronounce it.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
how I've said it from Street Fighter 2 my entire life.
Point is, Ryu and his little side storyline with the American spy, like, I didn't give a shit about that stuff. There was stuff that was happening in Volume 4 that I wasn't as invested. Volume 3, I was obsessed with. That's when Lady Miyako really takes a central role in the story. And Al, I think you were poking fun at her three little girls that are psychics. I loved them.
Losers.
I was obsessed. I was obsessed with them.
What are you talking about? They're awesome.
Patrick.
I thought yes.
Takashi is the science kid's D student, and even he was talking shit about Miyako's kids. Like they're losers. They're losers.
And that is what I loved about them, because I felt
like you can't like the underdog, Al.
A classic thing with shonen anime is the power scaling, how the protagonists always have to be more and more powerful. And I thought this was a really interesting way of how he showed you have Akira and Tetsuo who can like literally decimate cities.
Separate level, separate level.
Right. And then you have Kyoko, Masaru, and Takashi, who are no match for Tetsuo and Akira, but still very powerful in their own right. They could. You wouldn't want to fight them,
especially combined together. Like
I would fight Takashi that dude.
Takashi loves to see dogs fighting. So
okay.
It's a callback. It's called a callback.
He does love airplanes and separately dogfights.
Yeah, and separately dogfights.
Related to airplanes.
What have we called them? Are they the old boys?
That's the young old boys.
They could be old boys, child men, the science kids.
Old children.
Wrinkly old children.
So the wrinkly old children show up with Miyako has three girls that are probably like 10 years old that are psychics. And I loved when like they showed up, like the Miyako's three little girls, like it registered like, oh, super powerful people just showed up. Mm-hmm. Like to them, Takashi is like crazy powerful, but then Takashi to Akira is like, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
So I just love the like power scaling, because these three 10-year-old girls, like they cause a lot of problems for the military and for like the different gangs running the city and stuff like that.
And all they can do is jump, really. They're just good
but
jumpers.
That's still like, look how much. But I also love that. Going back to the art, I felt like the way the main girl is Sakaki. Am I pronouncing that right?
All right. You two, if there's one thing you know about me, it's that I love my kids old. And
you love your kids old.
Normal kids, and I prefer them old. So I don't like. They're just kids who jump. I don't like it.
The way, going back to his art, the way that Sakaki would fly around, it was very reminiscent to me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it was kind of like she was in control of like flying, but it was almost like it wasn't like Superman flying where he could just move his body around. You could tell she was like using kind of like the force to like move her body around. It was very it wasn't very smooth. And I really enjoyed that about it. I enjoyed one of the other girls. I think her name is Mickey, the one with the black hair.
Yeah.
She attacks Chiyoko at one point with telekinesis, but like her telekinesis is so weak that it's basically just like shredding the back of Chiyoko's back and her like shirt and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I really love the art in that. My overall take is that just like Volume 3 was amazing because Chiyoko was a total badass, Miyako was a badass, and I love the three little girls. Volume 4 for me just kind of it didn't fall flat. It was so much action that there wasn't a whole lot to grasp.
It's interesting that you say that, because like Volume 4 I felt like is when Chiyoko like really comes into who she is. Like she thrives in that situation, like being the only one that's strong, like amongst a populace of broken people after this second decimation.
Just having an inexplicably unlimited supply of rocket launchers makes you pretty strong.
Well, that's what like
it's not just that. It's her.
She's pulling them
it's her
out
physicality. Like
they're like coins from her pockets.
I love how she just straps. I love she just straps the what's his name?
She straps Masaru.
Masaru. Like to her back, and like because the little floating wheelchair breaks, or his little Professor X chair breaks, and she's trying to get him to let him in. Miyako. Yeah, it's
another complaint I have. You've got to get Masaru in a suit. He's got to be wearing a suit.
What is he
I
wearing?
Don't like him.
He's
like
wearing like a Dr. Evil little outfit.
Well, it's like a hospital shirt. I don't like it. I want him in a suit. I want him in a suit and a professor.
By the way, I'm just noticing in the artwork on our screen right now, like Kyoko is in like a large silicone implant.
Well, wait, what?
It's look at Kyoko.
It does have a little nipple bit.
It's got like a nipple and an areola. It looks like a little blob of. It looks like a breast.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, I feel like the Colonel is legit afraid of what Chiyoko could do to him if she wanted to. And I'm not even like. I just feel like Volume 4 is literally Chiyoko just bulldozing through the entire Tokyo Empire army.
The Great Tokyo
Empire. Yeah, the Great Tokyo Empire. That's my overall take.
Well, one thing from the very beginning, because early on we are introduced to Miyako's kids, like not old kids. And Patrick, earlier you were talking about the visual stuff. Sakaki and all them, to me, it was very Miyazaki-esque, including the ability of flight and moving through air. Like, it reminded me a lot of a kind of a Spirited Away Miyazaki vibe.
It did feel like that. I agree, Al.
And another cool thing. So, all right, another world-building thing. So, as part of the Colonel's martial law, little spider bots take control of Tokyo, and they start enforcing martial law and the rules. I wanted to bring this up because a big theme already in the first 2 volumes, bigger theme in these volumes, huge theme in the other volumes, is this kind of the comparison and relationship between biological evolution and technological evolution, right? The growth of technology versus the growth of biology and like the human species organically. And in this, what I liked about volume 3 and 4 is it's kind of the contrast of the two, because 3 is about, we have these machines taking over Tokyo, and these are machines that can withstand nuclear winters, and they'll, millions of years after people have died, these machines will still be there. Someone makes that comment. Like, they really bring home this idea of the technological advancement and the hardiness and like future proofness of these mechanical steel objects, right? And then volume 4 is the
you get to see that.
Contrast to that is instead that's wiped away. Akira
and the human cockroaches crawl out of the rubble.
And what we get are instead the human evolution, the purely like mental, biological human evolution, and the power of Akira and Tetsuo as opposed to the technological.
Also, meanwhile, Tetsuo is visually struggling with that with the mechanical arm and trying to find a balance within himself.
Interesting is like 3 and 4 are the contrast, and then volumes 5 and 6 are the blending as we see Tetsuo try to take on a non-biological component and how that goes on. And I bring that up because that's like, Cyberpunk 101 is that kind of theme of replace the place of technological evolution vis-a-vis biological evolution. I don't know if you remember Ghost in the Shell, but like the final climax of that is when Kusanagi fights the tank in the Natural History Museum. One of the first things that happens is the tank is shooting at her, and she cartwheels out of the way, and it shoots
it rips up the
evolutionary tree. It's like a picture of a biological evolutionary tree that this machine is destroying, right? So the image is, I think, explanatory. But so that's classic, like cyberpunk. And so these volumes kind of start really getting into that. And I think it's like a pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and that's sort of why I don't love the idea that they felt like filler to you, though. Because I was like, there's so much here to feel about the characters and the themes that are moving through volume 3 and 4. Moving towards the last volumes, but like
the thematic content is there, but it does feel a little bit. It just feels like a lot of backtracking. And now these people have Akira. Now they do. Let's chase them here, chase them there, on a boat, off a boat. There's a little bit of that, but again, I think a lot of that is the effect of reading this as single volumes that we can read one after the other, as opposed to this is coming out every month and shown in the Hop or whatever. That's the difference. But I like that overall theme that was going through in these.
So the beginning of volume 3, we Kaneda and Kei bring Akira to Chiyoko, and they kind of link up. And then Akira gets stolen from them by the little girl from Miyako's people. And then that starts, like I said, the kind of like the give and take, like who's going to end up with Akira by the end of this volume, kind of thing. And that's sort of the whole action sequence of this. It's just back and forth, like who has Akira? Like let's find Akira, let's grab Akira, like kind of thing. And they're all just like these little groups of people are all fighting over Akira for different reasons. But there's also this overarching plot of like Nezu is trying to seize Akira for power, and Miyako is trying to get Akira back from him to, I don't know, I guess protect him, but also sort of her power. And then meanwhile, the Colonel has been like relieved of his duties by the government, and then therefore takes over the government, kind of thing. So like, and just has a coup. The car chase scene with like Nezu just trying to get back to his compound where he knows Akira is already is awesome. I love the driver guy. It's just some random side character that's like, don't worry about it, sir. I got it, sir. And he's like driving through tanks and stuff. And you're just like, this guy's amazing. He's a really good driver. What a good driver you got, Nezu. But I mean, I love the bit on the boat because Nezu gets Akira so he cuts Ryu loose like early on. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. I can't have you talking to me. Like, this looks horrible. They know you're connected to the underground movement to disrupt the government. I'm in the government. This is like not going to happen. Get the fuck out of my room, kind of thing. And then meanwhile, Kei doesn't know if Ryu's alive this whole time. She's meeting up with Nezu, kind of going like, hey, where's Ryu? Have you talked to him? Like, what's going on? Like, is he alive still? I'm worried about him, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I haven't talked to him. And then, but he already has, kind of thing. So she ends up giving Nezu Akira. Like, so she's like, I think that's what Ryu would have wanted us to do, like, kind of thing. And then Nezu's like, yeah, murder all of them on the boat. And I just, like, the murdering, the weird James Bond spy movie-esque boat scene, I just loved for some reason. I don't know why. It's just, like, even Chiyoko's like, that food might be poisoned. They might want to kill us. And Kaneda's like, what? That's ridiculous. And then he literally gets poisoned. Like, it's just, and it's, Kaneda makes it like ridiculously fun because he's stupid and does dumb things, and he's the comedy relief. But you've got Kei and Chiyoko like making all these awesome moves and like saving each other's lives, and Kaneda's just vomiting on bad guys. It's awesome. I loved it all.
We can get more into it later, but Kaneda he has some sort of power. There's no way.
He's Domino or Long Shot. He's Long Shot.
Not. It's funny you mention that because like the Colonel is also right next to like everything bad that happens, like a lot. And he's just like somebody gets shot over his shoulder or the Akira explodes and like he's like right there and he keeps living too. So I mean like
the Colonel's different. He's got that like old world grit. You know what I mean? He's just like
he's the John Wayne. Yeah, he's the
that leathered.
It's the Clint Eastwood. Yeah,
like, he's just seen it all, and he can just handle it, and that's fine. Kaneda's legit long shot. Like he has probability.
Oh yeah, he is long shot basically.
He's literally falling. Yeah, he's literally falling off of buildings and like surviving somehow. Yeah.
And to follow up on what Joe was saying, just to set up the relationships for listeners, but so Nezu is part of the ruling council of Neo Tokyo that's been supplanted by the Colonel. He's been working for Miyako to kind of overturn the world order, but he's also, in this volume, we found out he's kind of splitting off from Miyako to sort of maybe take over. It's kind of unclear if he wants to take over.
I think he's just trying to hold on to Akira for himself because he sees it all falling apart.
And then Ryu and Kei's kind of rebel splinter cell is working for Nezu, kind of for Miyako indirectly, but then they're taking orders from Nezu, so that gets split off.
So when Nezu splits from Miyako, and they still deliver Akira to Nezu, like you're like, oh fuck, you made the wrong move. Again, I love the fact that they're like, let's escape this boat, and then they really don't escape, and they were just like waiting for the guy to like radio and find out where Akira went, because that's obviously what they care about. There's a lot of fun little bits there in 3.
In the very beginning of 3, and going back to my overall take about why I was so obsessed with Lady Miyako's little 10-year-old psychics, one of the very first scenes of Volume 3 is Lady Miyako asking Sakaki, who is basically her prized pupil, to retrieve Akira for her. And the first time I read it, they have an exchange, and Lady Miyako says, "The future looks bleak. I'm sorry that I won't have the chance to help you grow into a fine woman." And when I first read that, I was like, "Oh, Lady Miyako's old. She's going to die." And then on the second read, it's like, "Oh no, Lady Miyako, like her main power is that she can see the future, and she knows Sakaki's going to die soon." And she's basically telling Sakaki that, like, "Hey, you're going to die, like, trying to retrieve Akira for me, but I need you to do it anyways because I don't know exactly how it's all going to turn out." And Sakaki is just like, "That's fine. Don't worry about me, ma'am. Like, just focus on yourself, focus on the big picture." And that it was like a very small thing. It was a very small exchange, but this 10-year-old girl is like committed to this cause, being like, "Okay, this is a suicide mission, but I'm gonna go for it anyways."
And the spoilers, they do die.
They all die. All die.
All three.
They all die in the hopes that they can get Akira back to Miyako. And
Yeah.
it's kind of tragic. I mean, it's pretty tragic. Also, it's clear in the brief amount of screen time that they have, like it's clear that they care for each other a great deal. And like when one of them's in trouble, they're like, "Fuck! Oh no, Sakaki's in trouble." You know, like they're all on, like, and they're scrambling around in this weird, like it's after dark, so the military has shut everything down. They're like, "There's a curfew, get the fuck out of here," you know, that kind of thing. And they're and like every time a little spotlight hits them, you're like, "Oh shit."
Another art point I wanted to make, because Joe, you just pointed this out, the nighttime aspect of it. Because Volume 3 basically. The second half of it takes place like overnight, basically.
Over the one night, yeah.
Volume 4 takes place exclusively during the daytime. So the effect of reading these two is like Volume 3 is the night, like the last night of Neo Tokyo, and 4 is
basically
the dawn of Akira's empire. I did like that kind of visual effect of 3
dichotomy,
sort of the last night of Neo Tokyo leading into the new dawn of Akira's empire. I thought was cool. And going back to the kids, Miyako's kids.
The kids, not the old kids.
Yeah, but I liked, again, I mentioned the kind of Miyazaki-esque visual aspect to it, but I liked the scenes of Sakaki, especially, I guess, but leaping into the night sky, and a lot of it takes place in like nicer neighborhoods and these kind of more suburban environments. It was just, there's almost like a mystic, like a magical quality to what's going on.
Totally.
So I thought, and that's all comes through visually by how Otomo is drawing all that. But I thought that was really cool too. Like it really had a kind of mystical, that kind of quality to it, because it was happening at night and there were more trees around, and it just had that feeling.
And it was interesting because it was like Miyako's 3 girls were using their psychic powers to like enhance themselves physically, and the old kids are all mental, like, and they're no match for them, but it's just like interesting to see them use their powers in different ways. I was kind of obsessed with Volume 3. I thought it was great having all these different factions going after the same. Akira is basically just like the MacGuffin of this volume.
Don't you dare! He's such a well-behaved little boy. Don't you dare call him.
But he's
a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart.
He is a sweetheart. He is a sweet little boy.
He's not a little
like rubbing his eyes. Like Kaneda says something. He's like, "Well, it's time to wake up from my nap."
He is so well-mannered. Doesn't talk back. Anything. Like, he is the perfect little boy.
You guys, that's because he exists outside of the Destiny stream. He doesn't even register what's going on around.
That's true. Well, don't get me started on when he wears his little general suit.
So before we,
which is like really obviously before Akira doesn't have a little general suit. I'm sorry,
it's a wonderful little general. He's a little general boy.
It is adorable. But here's my point:
it's adorable.
Akira has no personality. That means that fucking Tetsuo dressed him up in that little suit.
Yes.
Who else would have done it?
Yes, Patrick. Yes, that is exactly.
Tetsuo's like, you wear this. Oh no, Volume 4. I mean, we'll get to Volume 4. We'll get to Volume 4.
Subordinate with the suit maybe it was his idea to dress him
maybe up. I don't know. I don't know. Tetsuo was super into capes, and so he gave Akira a cape. I'm pretty sure.
He's got a little
cape. The cape was Tetsuo.
The scene where Kaneda and Kei like grab Akira from Nezu's compound is awesome. I love all of that. Even and Kaneda is like scribbling on the wall, like, the rat's in a trap, fuck you, like, and just like, it's just a big fuck you. It's not even like, it's like, you didn't have to do that. You could have just taken Akira on the left. He's like, hold on, let me draw on the wall real quick. Great.
In this volume, Kaneda's weird to be visual. So the first 2 volumes, he's always like in this the iconic movie, like leather suit.
Yeah, he's in the biker suit. Yeah, biker.
And this whole volume,
he's
just in a button-down shirt. And like pants.
Yeah, he's wearing pants and a shirt.
It's just just weird. It's visually very different for the first couple volumes.
Just like a blanket statement, Chiyoko has like so many great scenes. One of my favorite
MVP of these volumes, Chiyoko, hands down.
So Akira is currently with Chiyoko, Kaneda, and Kei. And Kaneda, this is why I feel like
wait, who's with them?
Powers. Akira is with
Shakira.
So Akira's with Kaneda, Kei, and Chiyoko. Sakaki shows up to kidnap him. And Kaneda is able to like sense her presence. Do y'all remember those panels? She's at the top of the stairs and he's like singing a song, and all of a sudden he like realizes he's there. That's why I feel like subtle. But anyways, Kaneda's like,
he spends a volume in the live stream or whatever, so he's definitely
But this was before that happened. But anyways, Kaneda's like, hey, this little girl is kidnapping Akira, and Chiyoko shows up with a fucking Gatling gun.
Fucking machine gun.
And she says, I hope this is strong enough to handle her. And it's a 10-year-old child. So at first it's like, I appreciate the fact that Chiyoko's like, any psychic kids, I do not fuck with. Like, if you have psychic powers,
she knows,
I'm going to eradicate you.
She knows. Right?
By the way, what's her backstory? All we know is that Kei was like she's knows her through Ryu, and like she's part of the resistance movement with Nezu / Lady Miyako before they split. But like their relationship is so interesting because it feels like at first they're just using her as like a safe house. Like they're like, we got Akira, let's hide here. Like I know we can hide here, kind of thing. But her role seems so interesting, and I'm just like, what in the world? Why is Ryu in charge? Like it should be her. Like, what do you do if this is your safe house agent? Like, and that's what she's just been sitting around hanging out with like machine gun like on her shelf. Like what are you doing? She could have gotten you Akira like day one.
Yeah.
Like what do you, Lady Miyako is clearly not using her pieces well on the chessboard. You know what I mean? Like you got this. You got this queen that's just she can move in any direction and take out any pawn. Like what are you doing? She can do anything.
It's ironic too because Miyako can see the future ostensibly.
Yeah. Or at least sense. Yeah.
I guess if you know that in the future you fuck up, you still fuck up, right?
True.
Yeah, Miyako's powers aren't really too clearly defined.
I love the ineptitude of the military and like guards and like the police, like it kind of on at any point in the book, but specifically when Kaneda just jumps on a tank and goes fire there, and they're like down inside the tank. It's still the military. They're like, oh okay, but it's just like they have no fucking clue what they're doing. The colonel has legions of idiots beneath him. Yeah. Like it's amazing.
The Kaneda tank scene is one of my favorite scenes in this entire all 6 volumes because they are fleeing the military and Kaneda sees a tank and goes, oh shit, a tank, thinking that he's going to run the other way. And instead, the panels are like the guy on the turret. And then all of a sudden, Kaneda pops up out of nowhere and goes, this tank is mine. And he punches the guy in the face. And then,
when he gets the tank's commander is up top, like with a headset. So that's why Kaneda can like put the headset on after he knocks that guy out and be like, hey, fire. And they're like, what? Okay, sir. Like inside the tank, and they shoot. And I just love it. Cuts to like they shoot the first tank shot and it just goes, it's a zoomed out shot of like the quiet neighborhood they're in or whatever. And it just like in the back, it's just a little explosion in like it's like an idyllic little like, oh, there's buildings and people live here, and there's just an explosion in the middle of it. And the colonel was like, that sounded like a tank. So good.
Like Kaneda just mimics the guy's voice, gets the guy to shoot the enemies, and then a few panels later, he's like, Chiyoko, Kei, over here to the tank. He goes, The driver's a total dumbass. We can dump him and keep the tank.
Well, one of them gets hurt. Like one of the tank crew gets hurt, and then somebody's helping them, and that's when Kaneda just like puts on the headset. It's like, I got it. It's so fucking good. Anyway, Kaneda with a tank is very fun.
It was just, I just wish I could live life like Kaneda lives his life, and just like a tank is coming towards me, and instead of running away, I'm like, I'm gonna steal this tank real quick.
You could live your life that way.
I could.
I don't know how long a life it would be.
With a lot of different types of drugs. I'd have to get the right cocktail. A big thing is Miyako's always talking about like destiny, and we talked about in the first 2 volumes how Kaneda and the Colonel, like, they cross paths all the time. And we have a scene where Kaneda destroys one of these giant like ball like robots or whatever, and the Colonel's watching the video of what happened to the robot, and it's Kaneda, and you just feel like the Colonel's like, this fucking kid again? What is happening?
There's a part where they're in the tank and they literally
where they all converge. He makes a comment of like, "Oh fuck, like you again? Like how is that possible?"
Kaneda drives the tank like, so they find over the radio that Akira's like in the 12th district or whatever. So they're like in 9 or something. So they're like, oh, let's drive over a few streets, and Kaneda just like takes the tank through some people's houses, and they're literally like in their beds, and he's like my house, and he's like, excuse me, coming through. Like he's just ripping through people's homes, and there's this one panel of like this little kid just going, cool, and it's like in the rubble of his house, and I fucking love it. It's just like, it's so dumb and silly while all this super serious shit is happening. But it's just fun. Like, it just adds this level of like brevity to this, what could be a very, very serious comic. Like from start to finish, Kaneda like brings this little breath of fresh air where you can kind of like chuckle a little bit, even though it's insane, and then kind of come back into like the serious shit. And it's just, it's really, really wonderful storytelling.
Kaneda is literally just like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Where
he's a
like
wild card, bitches.
And like he just does stupid, crazy, impulsive shit.
Yeah.
And it never ends up.
And 9 times out of 10, Kay's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Who cares? Who cares? Water."
So there is a scene where Nezu. I just wanted to point out Lady Miyako. I kind of love her a little bit. Nezu comes and he's already got Akira in his possession. And Miyako, her powers are not as advanced as the old children. I think.
So she's from the generation before them.
Yeah, she's not a 20 series is when stuff got.
Yeah. She was in the teens.
But Nezu comes up and she's like talking about Akira, and Nezu already has Akira, and he's not.
It must be those. It must be those even numbers though, because like Tetsuo is 41, so like clearly the 30s didn't work either. It's interesting. We don't have any 30s. We don't have any 30 series.
Yeah, none of the old
there's
kids
no 30 series.
Right?
That's
they're all 20s with Akira. They're all from Akira's class.
Does it come into like 5 or 6 at all, or do they?
No. Just because Tetsuo was the last one, essentially. Like he was the last one. That they're like, here's a number.
I never even thought of that. There was a whole 30 series.
Yeah, so that means there was like
talk about
upward 30 to
they're probably
40.
Horribly they're mutated, disgusting things.
They're or you never know. I mean, like some of them may have been some of the psychic people we see in the later volumes, but probably not.
So Nezu meets with Lady Miyako. He's got Akira. He's lying to her about having Akira. And Miyako says, all men are born with certain capabilities and certain limitations. And even a man of great limitations may imagine himself a man of great capability. If such a man found within his grasp an object of great power, it would be useless, beyond his ability to control. In his hands, the object would be wasted and come to nothing. Do you understand me, little mouse?
Yeah, she just slammed that dude.
And he is bowing to her, and then she goes, "You may get up now."
Yeah, that was savage. I mean, she rails that guy. Yeah,
she read him for.
Well, I mean, he is a piece of human garbage. I mean, at the end of
it, to his character, he leaves that meeting where she just read him for filth, and he's like, she says some suspicious stuff, but I don't think she's on to me.
I think she's on to me.
Yeah, what a moron.
I think she might be on to me. Yeah, she knows, dumbass.
I love that his takeaway from her, like, specifically calling out that, like, you know, the most powerful weapons don't mean anything for idiots, and he's just like, oh, she has no idea. I'm good.
Yeah, I think she might suspect, but I think we're in the clear here.
We're fine.
That's fucking great. Ryu comes back and confronts Nezu, like, in the streets while all this shit is happening, and basically just shoots the fuck out of him in an alleyway, and then also grabs Akira. Like, so he's in possession. So everyone's in possession of Akira for like 5 minutes in this volume. It's crazy. They're all like
everyone
running back
has
and
a
forth.
turn. Yeah, he's the villain.
I guess the key is that, like, Nezu did get shot up and is just like walking, and like, but it shows him get up later and he's just like blood dripping everywhere. He's like leaning against the building to hold himself up, kind of thing. Which comes into play at the end, which is kind of what I was like, maybe we should just mention this part.
I do want to call out one of my old boys. So there's a scene where Takashi and the Colonel corner, I think it's Mozu, one of Miyako's kids.
Yeah.
And the Colonel's basically
great. Yeah.
The Colonel's like, Takashi, what are we dealing with? And so, again, I've mentioned this. Takashi's like, he's the D student. He's not the brightest of the science kids. But even he's like, oh, you know, I can handle this.
He's not, but he seems to be the one that's, I don't know, active. Like, Kyoko's clearly bedridden. And then Masaru is Masaru?
Not in a suit. Even in neither.
Masaru is like, you know, clearly their mental capacity has like atrophied their bodies in some way. Like, so even though Takashi is less powerful than them, he's still like able to run around and do things and like help, you know, like actively.
It's the natural aging process for a science kid.
for an old baby.
But so Takashi has kind of a cool moment where
it is a cool
he shows his strength and like, you know, he's pretty badass, which comes into play pretty soon. I think it's pretty clearly Otomo like making you look at like, oh, Takashi has a cool moment, like learn to care for him.
It's also you do, despite the fact that if you didn't know that dogfighting was a type of airplane fighting,
purely this is a hypothetical situation.
If you thought Takashi
loved dogfights,
did love dogfights, even then, when the Colonel, and this is where the Colonel, like, his character is kind of all over the place because the Colonel's like, hey, kill this 10-year-old for me because she's like annoying me. And Takashi's like, are you for real? And he's like, yes. Like, Takashi's hesitant. He doesn't want to do this. He's like, I'm sorry.
Well, because he's not. Yeah, he's.
Well, because it's it's more. That's more than dog's blood. You know.
Yeah,
it's true. It's humans.
If it was a puppy Rottweiler, he'd be like, yeah, let me.
Yeah, he'd be like, yeah, let me blow his brain up.
I don't think so. I actually don't. I think he'd be okay with two dogs mauling each other. I don't think he would want to maul a dog.
So
is it the joy of the dog fight that it's two dogs fighting?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But if dog fighting were not aerial combat,
I wouldn't know. But yes, I imagine that's the joy of dog fighting.
But as we all know, dog fighting refers to aerial combat between jet fighters and not.
So all the interested parties.
I don't know if we all know that.
All of the interested parties kind of converge in one area. So like, it looks kind of like a, I don't know, an LA River scenario where it's like a canal. Yeah, it's where the truck flew off the overpass in Terminator 2. So we're there. So this is kind of the linchpin of the end of the volume here, and they're just all kind of like Colonel's holding him at gunpoint. There's all kinds of superpowered people like all in one space. You know what's the main little girl's name that gets murdered here?
Sakaki.
Is it Sakaki? Sakaki. Yeah, so she gets killed.
When Takashi kills Mozu, though, the art was good, and it kind of goes back to what Al was saying, I think, in the first episode about like the spherical art, like conveying what the telekinesis looks like, and it's like literally Takashi just like envelops her in a telekinetic field,
and it's like a bowl, like a bubble.
Like, yeah, he just like crushes her body, and she's dead. It was pretty wild.
Yeah. Shoves her up against like a cement wall, sort of thing. You know, kind of.
All right. So the end.
The key here is that Takashi at the end is like it's you, it's really you. And then he like walks, he's like, Akira, like, like you haven't changed a bit, as in like he's still young because he was frozen. He's like, you remember me, don't you? I'm Takashi. Like everything's gonna be fine. Like come with me. And like meanwhile Kanada's being arrested by the colonel's men, and everyone is basically.
And then meanwhile Nezu with like a tiny Derringer pistol shooting from a football field away. Somehow it breaks skin. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, he just puts a hole right in Takashi's head.
Well, I guess it's old skin. He's an old boy. Maybe it's
his skull is brittle. It's like glass.
So first of all, I want to talk about the visual because Otomo does this so fucking well. So first of all, Takashi it's like his old friend. Oh, Akira, you don't remember like Masaru Kyoku? We're all old friends.
Yeah, we used to hang out when we didn't like old children.
Then you see a slip of the gun, right? And then the next panel is you see Takashi as he's going to embrace Akira. Like he's about to hug Akira.
Yeah.
And
it looks like he's about to put his arm around him and be like, come with me, buddy. It's everything's fine.
And he's smiling and about to hug him. And there's a bullet in his head. It's just incredible.
And the panel, so it's on the screen right now, but the panel after that is just this big empty panel. The colonel is looking back over his shoulder and it's just like Takashi is just like, and falling down. And the bottom of that page, again, I just want to emphasize like his ability to pace and storytell is fantastic. And it's like every single person stops and like watches that happen for a second. Like you get a shot of like the colonel's like, oh, and like Kaneda's like, oh shit, like they're all having this silent visual reaction. And then it just cuts to Nezu behind a wall going, oh shit, I missed. I fucking because he's trying to shoot Akira, obviously. He doesn't want it to fall in the colonel's hands. He accidentally hit Takashi.
And then again, we get all these close-ups of the science kids losing it. But the art, it's so expressive, the pain and the scream, look at that. Like you can hear the scream almost. It's so expressive and well done.
And Akira's reaction is just like fantastic. I mean, but the time you spend with it. Yeah.
But I have to, because all I talked about so far is what a well-behaved little boy he is. And he does not behave well at this. He screams like a little child. And
he doesn't scream at all. I don't think he makes a sound.
No, he does make a sound.
No, he does. They specifically say that. What is that terrible sound? Like what a noise.
Kaneda is like, holy shit.
Well, I think it's psychic. Like, I don't think he screams.
Well, it's a psychic scream.
I think he
literally screams.
He screams.
So I want to. Yeah, but he's not a well-mannered boy in that sense. He should know.
Well, but here's what.
When you see your friend get murdered, it's.
It's not even that. It's because they're all connected. Like Kyoko says. Like,
all the science kids they're all losing.
They have a connection in a way that like supersedes any connection any normal human could have with another human because they're all.
No, I think it's the way the three of us are connected. I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
100%.
If I die, if my,
I'd know immediately. I'd be asleep in bed and be like, Patrick needs my help.
If you were to die, Patrick, I would blow Boston up.
Boston would be a crater.
I would destroy Boston if you died.
Kyoko and Masaru save everyone essentially. They realize what's happening with Akira, and they're like, "Look, we got to get these people out of here." And so again,
and this is
old children. You're doing a great. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They're doing a great job. These old kids are doing a great job.
Oh, they're pulling their weight. And then, so the destruction, okay, so again, like we mentioned, Akira freaks out, he doesn't behave, and he causes an explosion. Now, the last, 15 pages are just this explosion, and they are, I know we've talked about the art or whatever, unreal shit.
It is nuts.
The images, look at the skyscrapers coming apart,
it's
just this vision, the black sphere coming up to the edge. It's crazy.
He even takes time to show what's happening with Nezu's body. this page.
It's
yeah,
all-
that's
and
his
then
body.
he-
He's just lying dead on the ground because the military shot the crap out of him
Look
after
at
he missed.
just the
But, like,
waterfall.
The building
cliff
rips apart, and
is
it just shows his body like getting sucked up into the explosion, and you're just like, "Fuck, that's amazing."
crazy stuff.
So Kaneda gets separated from everyone here, and this is an interesting thing because we did get to see his like ghost appear to Kai, or his like telekinetic presence appear to K earlier. I think in volume 2, or maybe it was just earlier in this volume. I don't know. But he's all like, like the telekinetic energy is ripping his clothing up, where it's like, and he's like, "Where am I, K?" Like kind of thing. But so a chunk of the building gets ripped off. So he's what? Out of existence at this point?
He
gets taken into the life stream.
He just doesn't get teleported away as far as everyone else.
Yeah, but
so
that chunk of the building goes with him, and
but he gets
so we can talk about it when we talk about volume 4 in 5 seconds. But like, it's so yeah, I know, yes, he does, but everything in that sphere gets ripped apart and is gone. So like,
but
I don't know if he gets. I think Tetsuo's saving him, which we haven't seen much of in this volume, because I think he's I think he's within Tetsuo's like protection.
Well, yeah, he comes back when Tetsuo.
When Tetsuo like heals himself, sort of, so to speak, like in the end of volume 4.
Well, Tetsuo definitely brings them back. I didn't read it that Tetsuo. I'm unconvinced that it was Tetsuo that.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so my only assertion
Tetsuo
with that
definitely brings them back. He definitely brings them back.
Absolutely, fair, and that maybe that's a shared telekinetic like space, like Professor Xavier would visit.
It's like a dreamscape or whatever.
Yeah. So like maybe that's a shared realm that Kaneda was absorbed into, and Tetsuo brings him back later, but it's definitely Tetsuo that brings him back later. Yes, so volume 3 ends with like Tetsuo after the explosion subsides. Yeah, it's so good.
But I love this scene of Tetsuo meets up Akira, and the last panel of this volume is them being kind of like,
just like sucking up into the air,
deified in this like
light.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Color that just brings them up. It's great. It's great.
All right, so let's get into volume 4, which clearly we spent way too much time on volume 3. Hey, Al, remember when you said, like, let's go quickly through 3 so we can talk about 4?
I lied.
Yeah, we lied.
My last note on volume 3, though, and this is terrible, but Kyoko is trying to also carry Takashi's dead body.
It's heartbreaking.
And Masaru's like, "What are you doing?" And
she's like, "Kyoko." He's like, "Kyoko, come on, we gotta go." And she's like, "I couldn't leave poor Takashi behind." And you're just like, "God damn it!"
And then one panel later, like her concentration cuts, and she drops him like
and he falls.
Stories. And
yeah,
just like
son of a. Which is very sad. So again in the movie, we've reached this critical moment where the movie is no longer informing / connected so much to like what's going on in these books, but so because Takashi's at the end fight in Akira the movie, like he's there like helping out with Masato, like so it's a very different. There was no second explosion in Akira the movie, like it was just dealing with Tetsuo, like there's no like Akira plot line.
There is no.
So this is all like kind of new territory, like in terms of reading the manga versus watching the anime. And I love every millisecond of this because I'm such a huge fan of that anime that when I later in life read these books, I was just like, fucking bravo. It's just like, it's more of what I always loved, like kind of thing. And I get to see so much more of like this world.
It also, so Akira's character is really interesting because again, in the movie, he's not. He's like sliced cells of like my brain has been bisected, and but then the way he is in this is, and again, I haven't finished it. I haven't read the whole manga before, so I've only read up to 4. But the way he's portrayed in 4 as this sort of like idiot child god that just plays with his toys and is like horribly, destructively, dangerously powerful, but also just an absent god, pretty much, is really fascinating.
So they even say it in the end of 3. They're like, he's now awoken, like he is awakening right now. Like so, like this Akira, this sweetheart, adorable child that we've been joking about this entire episode has been asleep this entire time. Like none of this has been. He's just been awake, like, it's just some rant. Well, he's literally awake, but like his power hasn't awakened. Like that aspect of who he is.
Well, even in Volume 4, he's not.
It's still like. It still might as well be in like the frozen, freezer locker. But I guess what I'm saying is it's interesting the difference between sweet, adorable Akira that's getting yanked by every other dickhead that's like, hey, come this way. I'm gonna sleep in this bed. Like I'll take care of you. Whatever. He just goes along with it because he's just like not even there yet. So in the end of this, when he sees Takashi die, something clicks and he wakes up, so to speak, and the Akira we get after this is still, I don't know, not that he's asleep still, but he's very much like, he's
passive.
Not like in control. He's still passive. Yes.
But he seems to be clearly waiting for
But he's a presence that they like, it's almost like he's wildly patient, and he's just like, let's see how this plays out before I assert myself in this situation. And so I feel like Volume 4 is almost entirely just him going like, let's see what these idiots do before I just put a stop to all this crap.
Well, rather than, I think it's less, let's see what these idiots do. He seems to really specifically just be waiting for Tetsuo to come into bloom, sort of. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
The way Tetsuo interacts with him, and we'll get into the dream sequences, but it really seems like Akira's just kind of like, I'm waiting for you to figure your shit out and open up your power more.
I think that's 100% what it is, because at the very end, when Tetsuo does like awaken his power, that's the first time you see any type of Akira.
Yeah, Akira's finally like, okay. And
it's
this
the first
is it now.
expression you see, right? But I think it's very.
He's almost it's almost like he's just like biding his time until Tetsuo like wakes the fuck up, power wise and
he's just kind of sitting there watching him like do drugs and do this and that. He's just kind of waiting, like I'm waiting for you to get your power right, and then then we can talk.
All right, so let's talk about post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah. So again, Volume 3, we just talked about the giant end, the destruction, incredible. Volume 4 starts off in this post-destruction Tokyo. Again, we mentioned it's very Mad Max, Fist of the North Star, that kind of vibe. Everything's destroyed, buildings are crumbled. And so a few factions have taken over Tokyo, the main ones being Akira's...
Lady Miyako's people and Akira's people. Well, Tetsuo's people.
Well, and then the Colonel and... I guess whatever he represents is ostensibly also still around, but not really in control.
Yeah, but it's just the Colonel as an individual with like maybe 1 or 2 guys helping him. But and then
so Miyako's group, and then the great Tokyo Empire, the new Tokyo Empire, the great Tokyo Empire. That's Tetsuo and Akira's.
Yeah, and something we see a glimpse of, or it starts to come out in this volume, which is really just with the insertion team that we see like scuba diving through destroyed Neo Tokyo, and it's like a reconnaissance team for the American military. Well, they allude to it that it's American. I'm not 100%
towards the American. End, it's pretty clearly. I think at a certain point towards the end.
Well, so when you see them later, Al, it's not necessarily just Americans. It might be like a holy shit, what's going on in Japan? Like everyone react, but it's mostly their navy, kind of thing. So that comes around much more in volume 5 and 6. That's way more relevant. So like honestly, kind of could skip most of that stuff in terms of like let's talk about it. Other than that, Ryu sort of like hooks up with that one guy from the insurgent team that kind of comes in.
Yeah, but so the Great Tokyo Empire, Tetsuo and Akira's group. In the meantime, they've been kind of experimenting and giving pills to people and trying to kind of work up their own psychic henchmen. And I don't. So what's interesting is that I don't know how much of that is. So none of it's Akira. It's obviously Tetsuo using Akira, just like everyone else was planning on doing. At this point, like we mentioned, I think Akira's pretty focused on just. Tetsuo, you need to blossom into your psychic person. I think the rest of the stuff is just Tetsuo and his little necktie-wearing henchmen sort of doing their own shit and trying to rule Tokyo.
So Tetsuo has like his second in command guy, the guy with the hair and the suit. I get the impression that like Tetsuo gave him orders like 2 months ago and then hasn't done anything since. Like kind of thing. Yeah. Like he's kind of like doing and saying things, and every once in a while they trot Akira out and sit him on his little throne, and Tetsuo's there, and they like pretend Akira is healing people. But like other than that, like to get followers, so to speak. But like other than that, like I don't think Tetsuo is really like micromanaging this. He just kind of, it's almost like he set something up and just kind of like, all right, let's let that happen. And
I don't even know if healing. I mean, he is healing people twice a day when they all show up in his.
Well, no, Akira's doing that.
Well, but it's
no, I know
doing it. Talking about their whole group.
Yeah,
very Mad Max-esque. But very Mad Max-esque, but their blind kind of like prophet scout dude.
Yes.
Was really interesting. Again, very Mad Max-esque, awesome. But yeah.
Did they? Yeah. I love that guy too, by the way. But did they say his name in this? Because
I don't remember. They might.
At the very, very end, there's a random character that's like one of Tetsuo's lower psychic people that's pretty good at things or whatever, and he kind of pops up and he's like, oh, you did this thing to that guy, and he mentions the blind like seeing guy that's just shouting things off the top of whatever he's standing on, and I think he calls him the Birdman or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember what he got. Is it the Birdman?
They do.
So I was just like did we wait 3 volumes to find out that guy's name? Because I'm like I couldn't remember if we had read it before.
But he was cool. Yeah, he just has his eyes covered with just like a bandana with one eye and this robe, and he just kind of oversees. He shouts like enemies are there.
Well, yeah,
he's
that's
just this kind of like oracle.
That's like terrifying about him. Like
it is, and also he's clearly not yelling audibly to everyone, so he's obviously like telepathically communicating to the area. So to speak. It's like they all have an earphone in, and they're like, "What was that? Oh, there's a bad guy. There's a guy running."
We'll
go to 7th Street and kill.
Yeah, they have their right AirPod in, and
they have just the right. Yeah.
No, but I thought he was really cool. The other minions were just sort of like less interesting. I thought he was kind of visually.
I like all the minor minions though, like only in the sense of like. Especially when we see the scene of him like going like, "Hey, give 4 dudes a pill, see what happens," and only one of them's like, "I can sort of take this," kind of thing. And he's like, "All right, that one graduates. That one already is dead. Like get these other 2 out of here. They're gonna die in like an hour."
And so the main sort of narrative action for this volume is Tetsuo finds out that the science kids are alive. And I think he kind of offhands just tells his minion, get them. And so the minion spends this time doing that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, Miyako also wants them to sort of collectively gather and bring them to her.
And again, not to ruin the end of the volume or whatever, but like if you're listening to this podcast, you've clearly either read this or maybe need to. But Tetsuo does this. The first little gathering of people that are like waiting on the cliffside to be healed or see Tetsuo or Lord Akira in sort of this like ritual that they do daily kind of thing. Tetsuo kneels before Akira, but there's a very specific panel of Tetsuo's like face, like close up, and he's just like, yeah, this isn't real. Like the way his eyes look and the way he's just like, he's doing it by rote. He's doing it to make it seem like Akira is this Lord and Savior kind of thing for all of these,
Well, he is. I mean, did you see all the medals on that little boy's shirt?
I mean, he's a minor major general.
He's a little general boy.
So the key is, and the bookend to that point is that at the end, Tetsuo truly bows to Akira and just like goes, shit, yeah, okay, like you're the man, kind of thing. And this whole book is about that transformation in Tetsuo, like in terms of using Akira to his own ends for whatever that may be, and in terms of moving him forward into that, like, I recognize that you are actually, God.
Well, another interesting thing about these two volumes compared to each other is, so in volume 3, Tetsuo is absent. And then in volume 4, Kaneda's absent.
Kaneda's absent,
in volumes 1 and 2, they were the main kind of two figures.
Right, yeah.
That's true, yeah. So, like, you get this...
That was
also
an interesting, contract.
Yeah,
like,
so volume 3 is kind of like this mini adventure, like a breath of air away from the problem and or, like, the presence that is Tetsuo. And volume 4 is very much that same thing with Kaneda. It's like, how bad can it get without Kaneda there to, like, yes, hilariously and comedically lighten the load and figure things out, but, like, the movement of plot in volume 4 is rather absent, and it's not, and it's kind of funny that we were joking about this earlier, like, and I was like, oh, Kaneda, they didn't do shit without Kaneda there, like, and Al, you were like, that's actually pretty true, kind of thing. Like, so that's kind of an interesting point, that without Kaneda there to, I don't know, instigate or bring to a head, like, a confrontation with Tetsuo, like, you just have them kind of existing in this space between, like, plot movement.
What I thought was interesting about the two volumes, so earlier in last episode, we kind of talked about the older brother, younger brother, father, son sort of dynamic between Tetsuo and Kaneda.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that Tetsuo could only really grow and bloom into his full strong self
with the absence of the big brother father. Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was only able to actually achieve his stronger self with, outside the shadow of the older brother or father figure.
Well, Tetsuo, even in volume 4, like, he's not... A big piece of volume 4 is the great Tokyo Empire attacking Lady Miyako's temple. Yeah. And Tetsuo is, like, completely disinterested in all of that. Like, it's his priority has become his priority has become, I want to learn how to control my psychic powers. I want to become as powerful.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying.
Like, he's kind of, until Kaneda shows back up, it's like he's not really involved.
Which is all his doing.
Of this, yeah.
No, it is, the order of events is kind of funny, because Tetsuo, like, he finds out the science kids are there, and he tells his tie-wearing guy, oh, you got to bring him to me.
The game show, 80s game show host is what we'll call him.
And then after that, Tetsuo is like, oh, well, I've got to go on a journey of self-discovery, and completely loses interest or, like, participation in all of that. Meanwhile, his 80s game show minion is running a full-scale war to get these kids back, and Tetsuo doesn't even care anymore. Tetsuo is in parallel is talking with Lady Miyako, in a room, just chatting as his military. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's funny but I think a lot of that, I mean, it's a cool dynamic that Otomo sets up. Is this disconnect between Akira and Tetsuo, and then Tetsuo and his minion, like this kind of, like, these levels of gods and how unconcerned they are with the lower people is really kind of set up in this. And all,
like I said, he kind of, like, it's almost like he gave the dude orders and then changed his mind and didn't say anything. And then meanwhile, this guy is on this, like, rampage to, like, do what he thinks he's supposed to be doing. And it just turns into this, like, interesting, like, Tetsuo doesn't even give a fuck about that anymore.
By volume 4, what happens is he has an orgy with these women. Yeah. And he has a dream, and his dream is insane. And he wakes up from the dream. It's insane.
The dream sequence is unreal.
Dream sequence is insane. He sees stuff from the future and, like, from his childhood and stuff like that. And he wakes up and he's like, oh shit, I was probably subconsciously syncing with Akira. So he wakes up and he's like, you know what, bitch? I've never thought about trying to read your mind. And he tries to read Akira's mind, and when he sees, like, breaks his brain. And after that, I feel like Tetsuo like does not give a fuck about what's happening with.
He sees
he caught a glimpse of the next level, right?
Yeah, he saw the power of Akira. Like he saw like what it really is, and and he just went, oh god, like none of this is important.
The dream sequence is next level. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about just about that. I mean, the visuals of what's happening in the dream, maybe not in the dream, the sexual positions going on. It's like really interesting stuff. It's crazy. He also, just as a byproduct of that experience, murders some preteens.
Two of the three? Yeah.
Well, did he kill them or did the drugs kill them?
I think it was.
Obviously he killed them because he made them.
I mean, he gave them the drug. Either way.
Well, yeah, he gave them the drug, but yeah, for sure he gave them the drug. So that's
Kaori only survived because she didn't take the drug, right?
Fair. Yeah. So she survived because she didn't take the drug, but also she maybe witnessed what he went through, like psychically. There's something there that's like, because she's like catatonic and just like curled up in a little ball like after this, and he's like, "You're alive," like what's your name? Oh, okay, wait here. It's just this weird moment of like, oh, you didn't take the pill, did you? Like, I'm sorry, I thought I'd give it to I'd give it to my father, he's very sick. And he's like, what's your name? Kaori. And then after that happens, he does have sort of like an awakening in a sense of like, oh shit, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, what am I doing with my powers? Like, this is it? Like, I'm just ruling over this rubble, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's nice an interesting change.
Double homicide.
Yeah, just after a casual double homicide. I mean, the game show host even refers to this as happened many, many times beforehand.
Well, so this volume 4 is a little uncomfortable. Again, I know that this is kind of a trope of the whole.
Oh, it's very fucked up, but it's also dark in the sense of like how real this feels. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know if it even feels real. It feels It's very
in the sense of like the base level of humanity is just like, oh fuck, everything's fucked. I'm just gonna rape and kill. And that's
is that
it's
the base level? I mean,
I hope not.
Or is that just what like?
Kay's like entire venture for the first half of volume 4 is like just basically
avoiding groups of men trying to
avoiding rape. Her whole journey is,
and it's Chiyoko and Kay just like bulldozing through. Like anytime they realize that a woman is around, all the men are like, "Oh fuck, it's a woman!" Like they're all going to take turns with her, and it's literally just these two women, like having to fight for their lives for like 300 pages, going through just hordes of men, psychic men.
It just seems almost. It's just so extreme. It seems almost like slapstick. I don't know what the word is, but I don't know. I mean, and this happens again. I've mentioned like Fist of the North Star does this a lot, but it's this trope in like post-apocalypse anime is just women are just there to be raped, and like every scene is that. Is that really what I mean? I don't know. It seems almost like a performative level of misery porn.
I just feel like the amount of rape and sexual abuse that happens in our current day, like cultured society, if you were to strip away rules and laws,
that's true.
It would be a free for all. And I that's why I kind of the way like the character of Chiyoko being so physically powerful and just bulldozing through these men was such a breath of fresh air.
Well, let's talk about. I don't think we've talked about Chiyoko Near. Just to wrap up that earlier point, I just want to say that the amount of that kind of sexual assault, rape stuff was icky. It was gross. It was a little not. It was uncomfortable.
So again, like I understand that it's gross, and I understand that you like a level of discomfort with reading it, because it's not like I was reading the rape scenes and going like,
right,
yeah, get it on, bros.
I don't mean
like
that,
kind of thing.
It felt like purposefully emphasized in a way.
That's true. I mean, it's something that you could
maybe feel like it's just a very raw like this is how I view humanity. Like if it got to this point.
I feel like if this volume had, let's say, 1 rape attempt in it instead of 18, it would have still been the same.
Oh, maybe I'm not accounting for how often that happened. Yeah. So
I mean, I agree with you on that. It's literally every confrontation they have once and it's interesting too, because I feel like when they figure out Chiyoko is a woman, they don't care. When they figure out that because Kay has her like face wrapped up a lot.
Yeah, Kay is hiding.
Kay is a more sexualized, feminine,
and that's like her big. At least, definitely for the first half of Volume 4, and even in the second half. But I think Kay really comes into her own in the second half. Fighting.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
But,
yeah,
like Chiyoko is definitely her savior in the first half. I mean,
she's the bodyguard, man. She's taking care of her. Even from Ryu.
Yeah. Well, so Volume 4, but really the protagonists of Volume 4 are Kay and Chiyoko. They are
100%.
character.
Yeah.
Like this is their journey. Their through line is the action carrying the narrative across. Like
again, this is the volume absent of Kaneda. So like aside from if Kaneda is the main protagonist of 1 and 2. Kei, Chiyoko, and Kaneda are the main protagonists of Volume 3. But with the absence of Kaneda, it's Chiyoko and Kei. Like they're the main protagonists.
So Chiyoko is,
and you have stuff with the Colonel where he's less antagonistic and more protagonistic in Volume 4. He's kind of shifting to their theme, so to speak.
But he's still more of a side character.
But he's still more of a side character.
And that's what was so interesting. She is a bulldozer. She is a bulldozer.
She is a literal bulldozer.
And she has, I think, I don't know how many rocket launchers she is able to produce from
at least three,
just from nowhere, just one after the other. Just as infinite rocket launchers, which help you be a bulldozer.
But even like when I loved. I mean, it's subtle their relationship, but when Chiyoko. They get separated, and Kei gets Masaru, brings Masaru to Miyako.
Oh, well, we didn't mention that, but they have the kids with them. They have the old kids.
They have the old kids.
And Masaru's still not wearing a suit. He's still not wearing a fucking tire suit.
Very annoyingly not wearing a suit.
Which is a problem.
He's just wearing a T-shirt. It's like when you see Bing Crosby like take off his clothes and you're just like, why are you wearing that like ginormous T-shirt?
I've never seen Bing Crosby take off.
I mean,
when does that happen? When has Bing Crosby undressed himself in front of us?
Some movie.
Do you mean Mr. Rogers when he takes off his little?
Some movie that happens at Christmas time. I don't know.
What? When does Bing Crosby take his clothes off?
Oh my God! Have you not seen Bing Crosby porn? Guys, come on.
I mean, I haven't, but I will have.
What the fuck? White Christmas, guys. I'm just the old-fashioned, like, I take my suit off and I take my button-up off, and there's this enormous giant blouse of a shirt.
Okay,
no.
Like Mr. Rogers taking his jacket and shoes off.
Yes, sure, Mr. Rogers.
Okay, so I just want to say, like, total tangent.
Because this isn't one? Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what Ryu is up to at all. And I don't.
No, I stopped caring about him the second Nezu was like, get out of here.
He could have died in Volume 3 and I wouldn't even notice.
But what is going on with him and the American Spy? Because, like, I can't tell.
I don't know. Ryu, like, tries to kiss Kei. Okay?
Right.
Because there's been a sexual tension and like between Kaneda and Kei and Ryu the whole time in terms of like I love Ryu, and even Kei in that moment is like, no, this is the man I love. He's finally kissing me, and Chiyoko's like, get the fuck out of here, you drunk piece of shit.
That was another moment I didn't get.
Props to Chiyoko.
Where did that come from?
Hey, you dumb bitch! Like you're like 18. This guy's like 40.
Yeah, and also you can do way better, including me. By the way,
MVP. Chiyoko's the MVP.
She's I mean, I wouldn't make the point. Just like I loved the Colonel. I felt like he was a very powerful character. But when him and Chiyoko meet, and Chiyoko is like gravely wounded, I'm like Chiyoko would take him out in one round. Like there's no way
shoot him up in a second.
She would destroy him.
But that was another scene I didn't get where Ryu's just shit-faced drunk and like grabs Kay and makes out, and she confesses like, "Oh, that's the man I love," or out of nowhere. Like that seemed.
But she's like
that's been there the whole time.
She's a teenager. Like she's been groomed by Ryu.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
that's what Chioko's like. Nope, this isn't happening. You can do better. We're gonna keep going.
She literally says, "Why don't you take a cold shower and cool off?" And at that point, he's like, "What have I done with my life? I'm gonna go hang out with this American spy." Dude, and goes off on this weird side adventure that I'm like, why the fuck
no one cares
I care about this?
But it is true. I mean, this character nobody gives a shit about. His arc in Volume 4 is tries to have sex with an 18-year-old, then regrets it, and just
we don't know how old Kay is.
She could be 15. That's all Kaneda is.
I was giving him the benefit,
but she could also be 20,
below 18. Given that this is a Japanese comic, she is likely under 18 because they're all.
Before I forget,
honestly, Ryu is probably 17. To be honest, like just the way
that is.
He's grown ass man. He's got a mustache. There's indications. There's indications.
If you go to Akira Wiki, the Colonel's probably 23. Or something crazy.
Yeah,
that's how manga works. Everyone's crazy young.
I hate it.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, this was
the Colonel is 47.
He's not. I'm telling you, if you look up, it's like
Ryu is 38,
24 years old,
and Kay is 20, and Kaneda's 15.
You know that
Nezu is 86.
He was 29. If you look at the wiki, Nezu's 29 years old.
Nezu's 76.
Sorry, Ben.
No, there's a scene with just Chiyoko. That's like my only note the entire volume. But this is volume 3 when they're.
My only note is Chiyoko's a badass.
Yeah, like when they're on the boat with Nezu, on Nezu's boat, and his men are coming after her. She's out of weapons, and she throws the inflatable raft at somebody, and it inflates in front of them, and then she punches the guy through the raft, and it's pretty amazing. She's just all of it is perfect.
It's fantastic. Her fist pushing through the raft and just smashing them in the face is so great.
Well, I also another cool point is I think Patrick mentioned this when Kay and Chiyoko split up the science kids, the old kids. You know, Kay takes Masaru, and when Chiyoko takes Kyoko, Kay's like, "Oh no, but you're hurt. What are you going to do?" And she just says like, "I got this. Like, don't worry. I'll meet you there. Like, you just don't worry about it. I got this." And it's just very, and I believed her. I was okay. Like, I believe you will get there. You're a badass.
Yeah.
Like, she's an awesome character. She really shined in volume 4.
It's uncanny.
Badass.
Like, she literally just brutalizes anyone to the point where the game show host, leader of the Great Tokyo Empire, is like, "Watch out for that bitch. She's crazy strong and super dangerous. Do not underestimate her."
He even mentions that, like, she killed like 40 of our men. Like, we've got to watch out.
The first
is amazing.
No offense to the world out there, but the first rapey scene where Kay and Chiyoko are like walking down the street, and Chiyoko's like, "I'm going to beat the shit out of all these men." She literally takes the rocket launcher in her hand and just crushes the dude's skull. And the panel of her bringing that back up, like off of that dude's head, his eyeballs are like floating up into the air. Like, it's fucked up.
I know exactly.
It's just devastating. Like,
I know exactly the fucking panel you're talking about.
Yes, it's so
she brought it down on her head, and it's like basically the whole skull is caved in, but somehow the eyes are still like where they were.
Yeah, it's like a smiley face shape on the top of his head, and as she's pulling it up, it's like little specks of whatever blood matter or brain matter and blood and skull, and then but also there's just eyeballs like shooting up, and like as in she just went and the head is just exploding. It's
The Tetsuo's like, "I need to figure out what the fuck's going on. I read Akira's mind and it almost killed me. I'm gonna go find this old bitch, Lady Miyako, and find out what's going on."
So Miyako reveals to Tetsuo that even though the pills unleash your psychic potential, they then also kind of put a stopper on it. Like,
they're inhibiting him. Yeah. And which is interesting because Takashi and Kyoko and Masaru's power level, they've been on those pills for eternity, like kind of thing. And I'm just like, so they're clearly addicted and need them for some reason, like to some extent, because like while Kyoko and Masaru are in Kei and Chiyoko's care, they're going into like withdrawal, and they're like they're dying.
They're kind of piecing together like medicine.
Yeah, they're trying to like their whole mission at the beginning of the book is just like find anything we can that will even remotely supplement what they've been having fed to them.
But the science
30 years.
But the old boy science kids aren't. They're a different level than Tetsuo and Akira. Like
No, sure, absolutely. But the point is, they're still taking that same drug that somehow like also awakens the ability in people, but at the same time controls and inhibits that ability. And I think that was an interesting point for Lady Miyako to tell Tetsuo. Like it added an extra interesting wrinkle to like so the government's not only trying to foster this ability in people, but they're also trying to control it. And that's what they're doing with the drugs. And like until that moment where she was like, "Hey, dummy, do you know what you're doing by eating those pills by the fistful? You're cutting yourself off from your full potential."
Yeah.
And it was just like this, oh, holy shit, that's so obvious. And yet it wasn't there until she spelled it out for us. Because like at the time you kind of think these pills like, I don't know, click certain synapses in your mind that like makes you open to the ability. And like, and if you're, one of a certain caliber of people, it will awaken that ability in you. Whereas in reality, yes, that's true, but it's also like holding you back, kind of thing. And I thought that was really fucking cool wrinkle to the pill situation and the government's
too. I mean, to Otomo's credit too, if you invent a magic pill, you don't describe it any real way. You can make it do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can just do whatever you want with that pill.
Hey, this pill also inhibits. The very thing the pill unlocks, it also inhibits. And I won't go into the chemical properties of the pill.
Yeah.
Trust me. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's fine.
Explanation of not like it awakens it in some people, but like Tetsuo, his psychic powers were kind of already awakened, and the pills helped.
Yeah, because Takashi awakened his abilities. That first interaction. So
seeing that leathered old face was all.
Yeah, seeing that wrinkly leather old man boy.
The other thing Miyako reveals to him is that the 20 series of kids was a government experiment. So Miyako's 19, so she was of a different generation.
Number 19.
True.
She's not 19 years old.
She's not 19 years old.
Well, don't tell Ryu she's 19.
She's very old.
He's gonna go for that.
But Miyako's like, yeah, what happened with the 20 series is that you had people, and we put these little like microscopic glass containers in their brains with saline solution, and they ran electricity through it, causing mutagens, and those people had kids, and those kids are who Akira, Kyoko, Takashi, and Masaru are. And just saying how that generation, the 20 series, were like the most powerful to ever come out of the entire government experiment, and how it was like a whole big government cover-up and all this stuff. Miyako, the way she escaped the government was that in an experiment she died, then she came back to life, but then she was asleep for 13 years. And when she was asleep,
so she died and was like, and they resuscitated her.
She was in
and she was in a coma, so she didn't wake back up, kind of thing. And then everyone that knew where she was and that she was connected to that project died in the Akira event.
Yeah.
So like eventually she was just like a random comatose patient in a hospital somewhere,
right?
That had like no necessary connection to the Akira thing, and therefore like maybe that's how she was like. And then 13 years later she woke up or whatever. It wasn't like necessarily like I don't know.
So she was like 23, and that's how she escaped. She woke up.
I kind of like love that explanation of who the fuck she is. By the way,
after all of this is revealed to Tetsuo, he decides to kind of like go through this journey and awaken his full power. It's a rough go because he tries to keep the drugs, but then takes them, then tries to go cold turkey. It's kind of a back and forth dealing with the drugs, while Akira just kind of like makes double helix rocks and hangs
out.
Well, I feel like Lady Miyako kind of she explains it to Tetsuo, and she's like, Akira, like we are all within like the same stream of reality, and Akira exists outside of that stream of reality. So if you're in the stream of reality, you're never going to understand what's going on in Akira's brain because he's so elevated.
Or your own,
that, like, So, but then she's like, that your potential is as great as his, but the medicine is what's inhibiting you. And that's why Tetsuo cuts it off cold turkey to try to get to the same place as Akira. So I feel like Akira is just non-responsive because that body of his is just like a vessel. And what's actually going on in his brain is like so elevated that it does not care about
Patrick,
what's happening on
Earth. Was I'm so glad you said vessel, because so that's, to me, is what he was trying to convey in the film, because it wasn't about Akira's this little boy and let's deal with this child and toss him back and forth for 3 more hours of a movie, but instead he went forget this little general suit, but
forget the general suit.
No, forget it. No, but in the film, I think he was trying to focus on like, what is it that I was trying to accomplish with this part of that story, and that is it. Like, it's Akira is just like, his body is just a vessel. Like, he has moved beyond a physical body. Like, you don't need a little boy waking up to be like, hey, Tetsuo, like, come join me in this new world, you know, kind of thing. Like, you just, in the film, he skipped straight to, I have moved the fuck on from my physical body and I still exist. I'm still alive. Like, but I don't need arms and legs and a brain. Like, I'm just, I can be fucking things in a jar and I'm still powerful, you know, like, kind of thing. And that's an interesting combination of the film and where the book is at right now, just as a vessel. Like, I love that terminology.
When it seems like he would only check in with like reality when Tetsuo was around. Like, I think
absolutely. Like, otherwise, Tetsuo he's just like, I'm going to take a nap for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, Tetsuo was the
only thing because Tetsuo was the only one that can reach. Yeah, I think he knows
that could understand it or whatever. Yeah,
Calorie takes like an interesting role in the book versus the movie, because in the movie it's like Tetsuo's girlfriend from day one, and like she's there kind of like trying to reconnect with Tetsuo the entire time. In the book, obviously that dream sequence / I'm going to murder 2 women.
Double homicide.
It's a very different origin. But her role is largely the same in the sense that Tetsuo recognizes within her some sort of like connection to humanity that he still has and relies on her greatly. But I think what's interesting is that she just kind of becomes, for the next few volumes until like the climax of the full series, like she just kind of becomes like this nursemaid for Akira while Tetsuo is like having this journey of self-discovery. And it's kind of interesting, her role, because there's a point in time where she's literally just like, all right, well, I guess let's go take a nap, little boy, you know, like kind of thing, like with Akira, and the 80s game show host guy is just like, is he awake? What the fuck's happening? Where's Tetsuo? And she's like, I don't know. And like, the way he like immediately accepts her as like this level of like, she's in charge sort of, is so fascinating and weird.
There's one part where she says something like, oh, I just fed Akira, and the game show guy's like, okay. Like,
he sounds good. All right. Random girl, but also, why are you alive still? Interesting.
Why are you here?
It's just so bizarre. Like this whole, her role in this.
Total tangent, but there's a big part of this volume 4 is the Great Tokyo Empire invades Lady Miyako's temple, and Kei kind of leads the entire battle on behalf.
That's not a tangent. That's the next topic of conversation.
That's the next topic of conversation.
She has a lot of badass moments.
So Kei
is out right.
Kei is like total badass in the second half of volume 4, and when she gets the game show host at the end, she keeps him alive, and she says, "Give a message to Tetsuo. Tell him to come in person next time." And I was like, oh, that's like really fucking badass for this little 15-year-old girl.
Ironically, Tetsuo was there in person like 5 minutes before.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
Talking to
side note to that is Chiyoko.
He wasn't
so
he?
like
Kei
Masaru and gets to Lady Miyako's compound relatively because Chiyoko got her there, or at least let her escape.
1 second, Joe. Sorry, Joe. 1 second. Still not in a suit. Masaru is still in.
Still not in a suit. And how dare you dress boss baby up in a suit and tie? I mean that's required.
Professor X chair.
Yeah, where's his chair? So Chiyoko is. I did misspeak earlier in the podcast. My bad. I forgot which baby child was on her back, but it's Kyoko. So she has Kyoko strapped to her back.
Kyoko.
Her adventure, Chiyoko's like adventure to get Kyoko to Lady Miyako is crazy. So much more challenges.
50 dudes. She takes out 50 dudes.
Like so many guys, so many great Tokyo Americans, and like I'm falling into like the sewer scene, and like the rats are there, and like oh my god, yeah. Like I was just like holy shit, this is fucked up, and she's just trying to keep this comatose like telepathic baby child or man child away from the
old man child
woman child. Sorry, my bad, but like like it's just crazy, and then she randomly bumps into the colonel, and that's when they finally are like, oh hey, let's come this way, and she's like, I'm taking her here, and he's like, that sounds good. That's kind of why I was like, I feel like the colonel is shifting to their side, so to speak, like because fast forward to the end of the world, and there's no government to govern, and there's no government to control. All he wants to do is take out Akira at this point, and because he doesn't want a third Akira event. And
the colonel
basically he's like, the best way to do that is to help out Lady Miyako at this point.
Yeah, but he also played himself out of a side. Like he went too early for the martial law. He alienated the government. I mean, he
way too early.
His incompetence sent this all in motion.
That is That's why
his martial law is what freaked Nezu out and made him do all his bullshit.
Still, though, I mean, like, so again, to his credit, like,
kids to the
he takes the kid to Miyako later and like leaves Chiyoko.
That's after he fucked everything up.
But that is like after
I know
the
that.
structure.
I'm well aware of that.
After the structure of society was gone and his designation of colonel meant absolutely nothing, is when he starts acting like a pretty decent,
more of a protagonist. That's what I'm saying. Like he joins. All he's doing this entire next 3 volumes is trying to get Sol, the giant laser beam space station thing, under his control again. Kind of thing, and remote detonator style, where he can just like point a laser beam at Tetsuo and be like, "That's it, click."
That is his finishing move. Is the Sol satellite laser beam?
Yep, that's
it's his finishing move. Miyako relays to Kei that she is like a vessel that can be used by Takashi.
Yeah.
Which
I thought
Takashi
was very
anymore.
interesting. Like she's not like Kei herself is not a psychic, but whatever her energy is,
she has like, I don't know, like let's call it like mild abilities, or like she's a Z-list versus an A-list, kind of thing. Like she's like
she's like a medium.
She's a medium. Yeah.
She can channel.
It just seemed like she had no powers on her own, but other psychics could channel their energy through her, which implies that they can't.
And therefore combining their powers, though. Right. So that's an interesting aspect of it.
Tetsuo shows up and the colonel freaks out and shoots the laser, and Tetsuo kind of freaks, but then he flies up into the laser, and you get these flashbacks of his birth. And I was a little bit confused by his birth because it's like a scene real quick of him with his parents, and I'm like, is that a normal delivery room or is that like a lab? Like, was Tetsuo part of like an experiment?
I got normal delivery room.
Lab,
Yeah, I got normal delivery room for that, but I totally get that you're reading more into that.
It's a single bed with like monitors over there. It looks kind of like it could be a lab or something more. Yeah.
Because there's another flashback where Tetsuo is being bullied as a kid, and they grab a necklace off his neck, and it's got a woman's picture in it. And Tetsuo's like, "That's my mom." And then someone off panel's like saying, "No, it's not. That's a lie." And it's like, did he not know who his mom was?
I don't think it's a lie. I think that's his normal delivery. I don't think he's trying to imply anything there.
The pattern he sees is the same pattern on Lady Miyako's wall, which apparently is what you see if you look into Akira's brain. So it's kind of implying that Tetsuo has elevated himself closer to the level of Akira.
So the relief artwork that's in her temple or whatever, or shrine or whatever you want to call it, is it what he sees in Akira's mind? I always thought it was like literally the explosion or the
No, if you look at in my volume, it's page 388 and 389.
Yeah, no, it's same page. Yeah.
Like that's what. And it cuts from that to Akira's face, and Akira looks kind of pissed. Then all of a sudden, Akira smiles, as if Tetsuo has like made some sort of breakthrough.
Is he smiling?
I don't know. What is that?
I don't know. He kind of looks like, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of. I mean, it's the most emotion we've seen from him at all.
And he looks serious again when he's bowing in front of him.
Yeah. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. We have Tetsuo kneeling in front of Akira, and Cowdery comes in and is like, she's like, "Master Tetsuo, like you're back," kind of thing, like because he's been on this wild adventure and he hasn't been around for a while. And Tetsuo's face, the panel of Tetsuo's face as he's bowing, is subservient. It's like reserved, like it's like, this is true, like what I'm doing right now is genuine. And in the bow that we get from him in the beginning, when he's like stuck this little kid on a pedestal and he's like fucking with all these regular people that are like hoping for something from Akira, Lord Akira, it's just his facial expression is just pure like, this is all a facade. It's just for show. Fuck all of these idiots that think Akira is like this Lord and Savior bullshit. And at the end of this volume, you get the exact opposite. And he's actually doing this for real. And I love the mirror of that, like over these 300, 400 plus pages of just Tetsuo being like, oh fuck, he's the real deal, it's like this recognition that Akira is this force that he can't control and isn't even remotely close to being able to control, and therefore recognizes that he won't surpass him, kind of thing.
Well, you can also see that the physical change in Tetsuo too. In that first panel where he's bowing, he's kind of hobbled and he's covered.
He's got this
arm that he can't use with a cape. And in this one, he's leaning on that mechanical arm, and he's actually he's actively. And
he has it under control now. Yeah,
and he's uncovered.
It's a very different,
in control. So it's the whole visual aspect is different too.
Okay, so within that last bit, while Tetsuo is interacting with Akira, and
Kanada's back. Whoa, is it over?
Yeah, that's the point. Whoa. Yeah, like within that bit, like we also get the return of Kaneda, and it's just like basically there's this like ball of light in the air, and whatever chunk of building he was on when that happened in the first place is now returned. And I always got the impression that like because of their connection, Tetsuo was like protecting him in that moment.
And that makes sense because he's the only person that survived that entire
because like everything else that went in within that orb that was the second Akira event was destroyed. Like there's nothing left. Like, but the Kaneda section of that building, like this, the cake slice of that building with Kaneda sitting on top of it, survives somehow. And so it's either one of these things where Tetsuo inadvertently saved him because he needs him in some weird capacity as his father, big brother figure, or like Al was saying earlier, it's just the same dream space that like they've gone into multiple times, and Tetsuo is goes, oh, maybe all of old Tokyo is still in that kid's brain.
It
you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Everything that the sphere
everything that he's destroyed is still there.
And Tetsuo, but
that being said, I still feel like obviously it's Tetsuo that brings that back. Yeah.
Well, clearly, because I think it's because of their connection that he brought it back.
Yeah.
Right? Whether he protected him at the beginning or not, I don't know. But yeah.
Also, just going back to Kaneda, like having superpowers, like when he comes back, he falls out of the sky like
he's
a solid
long shot. Yeah, he's
solid,
domino.
A solid 2 miles out of the sky, and he just like Aladdin style hits like a canopy.
Tuck and roll, and you're fine.
enormous chunk of building falls behind him, and he's just like, "Oh shit!" He's just running.
How are you? My note is, how the fuck is he still alive? How did he survive that? Makes no sense.
I don't know.
Another interesting contrast with, because the movie is I feel like the movie is a much more serious adult tone. And in the comic, like Kaneda specifically is almost very slapstick almost. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I survived it. It's very like, it has a very,
the movie has touches of that.
I don't think the movie really, but I don't think it really.
Not like that though. There's also this weird element in the movie that I think is interesting. That is 100% absent from the book. Even if you call the movie Volume 1 and 2, is Tetsuo's like obsession with Kaneda's bike and like needing it or wanting it somehow. And he's like, "Hey, you want my bike? Let's fight!" And like that's the movie, and you're like, "What the fuck? Where did that come from?"
The comic does have one line where Tetsuo is like looking at the bike and Kaneda.
But that's it.
But it's one line. Yeah, the movie it's like a through.
It's weird how much the movie like talks about the bike being important because it's very not important.
But they're not
in the. But
they're not talking about a bike, dude. They're talking about cock. The bike.
Yeah, it's all about you wanting to be a man.
Of course.
So one part that we kind of touched on it, but we kind of glossed over it, but it's the assault on Lady Miyako's temple. And I'm not saying we should discuss it greatly because basically there's another 3 assaults on Miyako's temple into Volume 5, kind of thing. So like we can discuss that later. But one interesting note, I guess, is that one kid from Kaneda's gang is there, and helps Kei through that whole thing. And
Kei does meet up with the other guy.
Kai? Is his name Kai?
It's Kai, but it's long. It's longer. But it's Kai and Kei. That was, aside from it being like Kei's moment to shine, I thought it was kind of cool that they were like, "Oh, this random kid survived too. That's random." Yeah. But it is random, but it's also kind of cool. We also didn't touch on, sadly, so many weird monk characters within Miyako's temple and like everything that's happening there. Like, there's a lot going on with Miyako.
I like Miyako's
versus the great Tokyo Empire.
Because it was clear they're not like especially gifted psychics, but like they're very well trained and know how to work together. And like while Tetsuo's folks are hyped up on drugs and they can fight one-on-one, it takes like 6 of Miyako's people to like put one of them
to like hold one of them back. Thing.
It was a good fight. I mean, it was interesting to see. The art is amazing. Like that Volume 4, I didn't have too much to say about it, just because it's so much action and the art. Keep going on and on about the art, but a podcast isn't like the best thing
medium
about
for
art
that,
per se. But like, just Chiyoko and Kei just like ripping through these people is pretty amazing.
I guess the main point we need to say is that they pushed them back. They saved the temple, for another fight.
Well,
meanwhile, Idiot's game show host is like, "We're doing it again right now. Go get all the guns and all the people."
That was a funny scene where they're like, "We'll be back," and it's like, "Okay," and then a minute later,
they're like, "Oh, fuck, they're back." Yeah.
It's like
they got all the guns really fast.
It's 25
minutes.
Yeah, they're just right back. Like, no, we meant we are coming back. Yeah.
Like, lick your wounds for like half a day. Gather your forces, come back and.
Sorry, I'm having audio problem. I don't know if you guys hear. There's like a weird background noise.
Ding, 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 ding,
Does
ding,
this
ding,
pass the Bechdel test? The Bechdel test.
The Bechdel test. The Bechdel test.
Does this pass the Bechdel test? The answer's probably
no.
So this is a complex case because Chiyoko and Kei do have seeds alone and they talk, so it technically passes. However, it features the rape and murder of women.
Yeah,
there's attempted rape. There's attempted sexual assault.
Tetsuo rape.
Yes.
Those girls.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking more of the Kei Chiyoko bit, but yes, that happens. I don't know. I don't
feel like we can give it a victory because I feel like the other stuff counterbalances the.
Here's what I say I like about it. It does pass the Bechdel test. There's the Chiyoko Kei moments. There's also the Lady Miyako.
Chiyoko Kei are awesome. Yeah, they definitely rule this volume.
Well, just like them talking to each other, Lady Miyako and Sakaki and
for volume 3,
Mozu.
Like they all have their conversations, and there's a lot of.
It definitely passes the Bechdel test in the pure idealistic version of the Bechdel test.
The strict sense it passes, but I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that kind of counterbalance.
Well, I'm sorry, Al. That's all we count is the pure strictest sense of the test.
But what I did like about this is, I've said this in the last episode, how I feel like anime and manga does a good job of displaying strong friendship bonds. Mm-hmm. And the bond between Lady Miyako's 3 kids was, I think, very well shown that they really cared for each other and they're looking out for each other. And Lady Miyako is pretty devastated when they all die. And then the bond between Kei and Chiyoko and how they're constantly looking out for each other. So I enjoyed those bits.
And I mean,
the old kids, bond. I mean, you have.
Well, Takashi's death triggers World War IV. So I mean,
that's also adorable.
So
Kyoko's the only real girl.
Al, to your point, there are dark scenes, and I'm not because they are fucked up, and they are there, but they are portrayed with a sense of seriousness and not glorifying it. You know what I mean? It's done in a way that's like, this is fucked up, but that happened, so I'm gonna show it. Kind of thing. It's not done in like a, hey, let's have a gratuitous sex scene where Tetsuo rapes 2 women and they die.
I disagree. I think it feels pretty gratuitous in a lot of cases. I kind of disagree.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
It was pretty central to the conflict of what those women were going through. But at the same time, I'm like, I've never lived in a post-apocalyptic world, but
Well, not many people have. I mean, let's hope we never do.
Right, but like...
But I get what you're
saying. Like you could have had one scene, and that would have established that this is some shit that happens.
It's a dangerous world for women. Okay,
fine. Yeah, you
don't need it constant. Yeah, it did feel gratuitous at that level.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, no, I got it.
It was every time.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree, is what I'm saying.
Anytime Kei stepped outside, if the sunlight hits her, she's getting...
Anytime her disguise was taken off, it was like a woman, and then it was just them all like pulling their pants down. And
also, by the way, did all the fucking women die? Like, what the fuck?
I guess. I mean, theoretically, half of the population should be women, right? But I guess not.
At least, or maybe 51%. There's also a strongly implied level of the lack of women is because they've been raped and murdered.
This volume is an indication that I believe that it's been used up because they have been murdering and assaulting women.
I mean, this is a big assumption, but it sounds like, looking at it, you have the Great Tokyo Empire, which is kind of the more fascist, and then you have Lady Miyako's temple that's more kind of like socialist. And I would see
everyone come here for aid and food and water.
And I would say, I didn't really pay attention to the art that closely, but I would imagine there's probably more women and children within the Lady Miyako.
Yeah, there's definitely more women and children in the Lady Miyako's camp. You're right.
Excuse angry young man.
I think that's a little bit more in volume 5 when they assault the Lady Miyako's temple for like the 5th time or whatever, kind of thing. But like, there's definitely some scenes where there's like women and children within that group of like refugees, kind of thing, like while the fighting is happening. Like that is shown, I think.
I mean, I didn't want to harp. I think we're done. I didn't want to harp on that point, but I did want to just make it that I mean,
it's in the book
and much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is gratuitous at the same time, though. Like, I think the time period. I appreciate the fact that like the women were coming to each other's aid, and it wasn't a man like coming to their rescue each time. Like, and it wasn't just like, I mean, Kei was obviously protected by Chiyoko for the most part, but then when Chiyoko wasn't around to protect her, Kei was more than capable of protecting herself. So it's like, I want to give credit for the fact that these women, the relationships, I think, were very well established, and that they're I really enjoyed the fact that they were looking out for each other.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I like that
it's just like as much as you see the dark side, you see the other aspect of that, and that's what I meant by not gratuitous. I meant like it's this measured version of like there are that the other side of that coin is being shown as well. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Well, maybe they didn't do it enough, or maybe they did too much of the other one. Like kind of thing.
I think it's good that we didn't get a scene where Chiyoko and Kei are on the ropes or something, and then Kaneda returns.
Right.
Yes.
I'm glad we did not get that scene. Right.
Even when Kaneda does return in the end, like it's not like he meets up with them and is like, "Hey guys, I'm back." Like he just goes,
"He's a fucking idiot." He's just, "What's happening?" Oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is it over?
Is it over? What's going on? In his button.
Well, even like when the Colonel showed up, like he didn't really. I mean, he did help Chiyoko, but like for a while, he was kind of like just letting her figure it out on her own, and then like it was never a situation where it was like, oh, thank God the Colonel was here to save Chiyoko, when it was like she was basically doing all the work, and then when he decided.
Patrick, I know he's your zaddy, but like the Colonel's a mess, dude. You just got to admit it. The dude is a mess. He's not saving anybody. He can't take care of his own shit. He's not going to help you.
No. I think that's what's so interesting, because he is like the pinnacle of masculinity in the first two volumes. And then by this volume, Chiyoko is just such a more like powerful figure in the story. Like when things have gone to shit and he's been stripped of his title and his fucking authority, he's just some loner who doesn't do shit. When this woman who was basically living a life of just like being a safe house for people in the resistance is like, well, I guess it's up to me to literally kill all of these people by myself.
I think you're kind of overselling by calling the Colonel the pinnacle of masculinity in volumes 1 and 2. I think you're overselling a little bit.
He's literally 2 feet taller than anyone else, and his shoulders are way broader.
Masculine. So you mean literally the pinnacle because he's the tallest?
Well, yes, physically and
have you ever Googled the subconscious effect a tall person has on a regular sized person? Because it's a normal thing where we automatically defer to them for authority. It's science, okay?
It's science.
No, but he is like, he's in charge of the military, and all these other guys look up to him. He does a successful coup where he overthrows like the government. That's big, imposing.
I agree, Patty.
Okay, I don't want to tell Neo Tokyo how to do its business. Maybe put a general in charge of your military instead of a colonel.
I don't know the difference.
The generals.
Maybe put.
They're all old rat-faced men.
So, well, like. I mean, yeah, volume 4, you still definitely want to keep reading into volume 5, and the pacing is great. Love volume 3 more than volume 4, but they're both good, and I really enjoyed volume 5 and volume 6. Volume 4 ends, the pacing is great, so you're just going to want to keep reading. So yeah. I would definitely say if you got to the end of volume 4 and was like, I'm done with this book, then I don't
too much. I'd be like, are you insane? Keep reading. Yeah, I agree, Patty. Volume 3 and 4, the main disagreement I have with you guys is that volume 3 and or 4 is better or less than either of the two. Like for me, volume 3 and 4 are fantastic start to finish for different reasons. So like I was fully invested in 3, fully invested in 4. Can't wait till we read 5 and 6. I mean, like, so absolutely awesome book. Read it.
I enjoyed it. Volume 3 felt a little bit fillery, backtracky. Volume 4, I mentioned not super comfortable with what I think is gratuitous levels of assault. Also, Masaru was not in a suit in either of these volumes. Other than that, I enjoyed it, and I recommend it. It's a good manga. You got a lot of good stuff in it.
Boys, I think we did comics for the week. I think we won.
I think we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good journey. You got to say good journey.
Good journey, viewers and listeners.
Well, Al, you need to say goodbye, not tell Patty how to say goodbye.
Well, but
that's weird.
Okay, so all right. So I say goodbye to set up a good journey.
Yeah, you say, all right, see you later, guys. I'll see you next week. And then Patty says good journey. You don't have to remind him to say good journey. He knows to say good journey.
I know to say good journey.
I mean, he knows. That's his sign off.
I'll see everybody on the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next part 3.
And then you didn't do good journey after we set you up.
He did it already.
I said,
oh, no, we're keeping all of that.
Oh,
good.
I thought we were resetting him up to do good journey.
Good journey, Mobius Couchers.
All right, see you guys.